Well, and
Sorry
the
about the white noise.
microphones can really pick that up.
All right, sorry about that. You want me to mute when I can?
Okay, folks, we are live here on Quantum Leap. I just got the green light, and we are excited to have Lawrence McKendell, a longtime associate of Corey and I. He's a graphic designer. He's done some great work for me on logos and a lot of people we know. So I just love how he thinks, and we're going to look at some of his designs too. But with that, I wanted to get first to Corey to do a brief check-in. Corey, if you don't mind just introducing yourself and doing a check-in if you so desire.
Yes, my bird started screaming just right now. I'm gonna have to let them out. So everyone, Corey not here with Take Wing Coaching, and my birds want to take wings, so I'm gonna go ahead and let them out. But happy to be here today with Lawrence.
Great, take care of that. That's the beauty of live television, if you want to call it that. And with that, I'm going to get to Lawrence. I'll just skip my check-in. This is actually our second to last podcast for a while, so we can get some other work done. But I'm excited to be keeping in touch about that other stuff as we move forward. And Lawrence really just, I think what I really appreciate him about is his process. He's just such an expert with what he does, but the process of how he works and how he sees design is really impressive. So I always kind of gravitate towards people who are kind of like philosophers a bit too. And Lawrence has a great sense of humor, and he's just a fun person to work with and be around. So with that, I'm just going to have him tell his story, Lawrence, if you don't mind just telling us a little bit about who you are. And sorry, I'm a little bit shaky today. I'm trying to avoid this hot spot that's coming in through the window. So I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for having me on your podcast, and congratulations on the success of your podcast. It's very interesting. As a graphic designer, I started getting the eye for graphic design when I was working in corporate America with the Bose Corporation. And Bose is a speaker manufacturer. I think everybody knows them now, probably predominantly as a headphone manufacturer, noise canceling. But what really intrigued me was that their type of messaging and their ads were so beautiful and clean, and really spoke to their audience well. And they had a great product, but their messaging and the way they delivered it was wonderful. And I really gravitated towards that because it helped me sell product through my clients. I had you have clients that wanted to move Bose product to their stores, mom and pop shops. I worked a lot of times with Circuit City, and and those ads helped propel those products, brought people in the door very eager. And it was fascinating to see what that messaging helped. And so that really steered me towards art school. I went to the Academy of Art College in San Francisco, as well as the Dallas Institute of Art in Dallas, and really helped me drive, like, how can I understand how art and messaging comes together to get people intrigued on a product and a person, and it was not only the messaging but the beauty of the messaging that intrigued me. And so I've been at this for 23 years, and I left Bose to pursue a graphic design career. And it takes a while. It's one thing to see it happen, and it's like with anything else, it takes 10,000 hours. It takes a lot of time to finally come together and go, oh, I get it. I see. There's a lot more subtlety below the waterline, and so it's a constant pursuit of trying to move beyond the easy lab work of an art school that gives you really simple products with no hard timeline and no hard clients, to get out in the world of being finding that client that you resonate with, that you're able to help, and come up with a really nice solution that's quick, within their budget, and gets it out there and brings in clients who gets the results they want. And that's really, it's challenging every day, every time you work with a client, but it's fun. And and it's really nice when a client walks away and you can see them, humming to themselves, talking to themselves, putting out their card all the time, showing off their logo, their brochures, their ad campaign, whatever, and they're very pleased, and it's just a nice feeling. It really is fun, and I like it. Then there's those times you look at a design you did 10, 15, 20 years ago. What was I thinking? What was going on here? And there's other times you look at stuff, you go, wow, that was really, really nice. That really cool. I forgot I made this. This looks good. So it's very funny how you go through this dance. But anyway, so here I am. I'm based in Oakland, San Francisco. I've won a number of awards for my work, and I like what I do.
Great. And I've said this before. I said about video, but you never know what good design can do for you until you have it. And I feel like I have that with the logos that you created for me. And you really kind of opened a number of things up for me with working on my own design with video. There's really such a synergy between video and design, images. It's all the same content. It's really just how you present it. But if you don't mind just taking us through some of your designs, I did give you a co-host sharing privileges. Do you have anything you want to talk about today, or should we just stick to the interview?
Well, no, we can talk about the ones behind me. We can use that as a backdrop. They all happen to be green. It's funny. I like a lot of blues. I like purples, but it's funny when the smoke clears, I end up with a big chunk of logos in the green realm, and these are some of the ones though that I can walk through. These are variety. They are the one over my right shoulder, if this is right here, is a law firm. The one over here is a nonprofit, the Oakland Fund. That's their newsletter. The two over my left shoulder are two sort of pop-up food companies. One is a banana pudding company, and another one is a pizza. And then the one just over my shoulder is a Pilates studio. So you've got food, you've got startups, you've got healthcare, you've got nonprofits, you've got legal, and they all come with a sort of, I will talk to you in general about the law, and this is with anybody who's working with a graphic designer. So one of the things that I would love to, everybody likes to talk about themselves, but I want to sort of address these logos as if when the clients came to me, what was their concern, what was their want, what was the end goal, and the law firm over here. And do you mind if I do this, David? Or is there something you'd like me to address? Okay, all right. So the law firm over my right shoulder came to me and said, we're an immigration law firm, and we have some sort of like this in mind. They had a sort of a doily-esque logo, and they wanted to update it. It was really busy. It looked like it was a cut and paste situation, and they were expanding their law firm, and they wanted something cleaner. They wanted something crisp, and they wanted something that got all the lawyers, all the partners involved. And we went through this process. There was a couple point people, and we went through a number of I'm trying to, the name of the style eludes me at the moment, but we really talked about what is going to demonstrate boldness, confidence, a little bit of a international flavor, a color set that they really like. They love this color scheme of a dark, a light green, a light green, a gray, and a red. And they wanted to see if they could get it. And so we went through different iterations, and ultimately we did something here that the names are really crisp in the white space in between. And it's just something that it's able to sit as a watermark. It can be a letterpress, which would be awesome. A stamp, if they had a stamp crimp press to put on different things, it'd be good. And it was just a quiet confidence. And so this went up and down pretty darn quick. And but they were succinct in what they wanted, and this is what we gave them. We got a little nice, the color palette they like. It was strong, it was confident, and we went with a serif font that was very classic in their design. And so this is I love this piece. I love the incorporation of the artistic flair with the names. The other one over my right shoulder was the The Edge, which is a newsletter for a nonprofit with the Oakland Fund. And we had a very dry logo. The Edge, I work with the E in different ways. And I said, let's go way out of the box with this. What is going to, because anybody hears newsletter, everybody dries over like, okay, there's nothing exciting when you hear newsletter. And so, I came up with a logo that had enough interest with the lettering that's going to grab somebody's attention. What's this about? And also, I did something with the E that slashed it, that created some sort of dynamic with the Edge. And so ultimately, the Edge can stand alone with just the E. And but I gave it the flavor of the color palette of the Oakland Fund. And the Oakland Fund is definitely what's very unique about this. This nonprofit is very collaborative. It's looking for outside investments and encourages outside investments to come together to further solutions to move Oakland forward. And the multicolor of this logo was really to talk about how the different people came together to move everything forward. So there was a collaborative effort with the coloring that came together, as well as the slicing to create the edge, to give the edge of the logo to the Edge. So, and then I will go over to the Pilates. And what's really interesting about the Pilates, the owner came to me and said, "Look, I'd like a logo that has at least the bench below with Pilates on it, so we can do that. We can." And I created some different comps for it. And she says, I want something that flows. I wanted something that gave a lot of motion. And I want to pose a Pilates pose that's a single line drawing. And a single line drawing is just one stroke that creates the drawing. And Picasso made this particular art form fun. And I remember when I was with my son when he was young, I would say, how to draw a single line face. Put a pen on the paper and draw a line with a circle and eyes and a smile and a body. Can you do that with one line? And we would, kill time before the pizza shows up or wherever we were. And so I had a lot of opportunity working with that with my son. We did this in art school, but it was very fun to sort of take that to entertain my son. And this was a rare opportunity to say, I would like to have this done. I'm like, oh my, this is amazing. Thank you for this opportunity. And so I have a picture of it. I wish I had it handy that showed you that I had a rolled sheet of paper. And for the betterment of a month, I went through iterations. Let me find this pose. Let me find this pose. Was it a smooth single line? Did it capture the energy of the pose itself? I wouldn't say probably 1,200 drawings later, there was that one moment probably at like 2:30 in the morning. It was like, oh, I think this is it. This is great. And so, and I got probably a set of maybe 20, brought it into Photoshop, cleaned it up, tightened it up, because I was working with a combination of an ink pen and on some of them, and others were a sort of a crayon charcoal, and cleaned up all the edges and made it work. And the client really liked it, so we dropped the drawing in with the script font, and we have Ease Pilates. And so that was really nice. So we have law, which I like. You've got a nonprofit. I love working with nonprofits, and I love working in the healthcare, in the health industry. These are all particular opportunities to tell different stories to different people. And then I move over here, and this is very interesting with these two. I get a call. We'll go to the far right with Banana Craze. So I've got my mom's recipe, my grandmother's recipe for manna pudding. And I want something that's flowy, and I want a lotus flower. And I said, that's great, but I want a lotus flower that looks like bananas. I said, wow, that's really kind of cool. I mean, that was out of the box that I was thinking. And so, I went through, I drew some lotus flowers. I found some lotus flowers that were sort of stock photography. And I did a lot of drawing and photography of bananas. What is the shape of banana? How is it colored? The tips are black. It goes from an orange to a yellow back to an orange. And as it ages in different areas. And you were trying to get the flow and the look and feel of a banana. And it was very interesting to try to find a script font. And I found a script font that had different elements of it that sort of replicated the flow and the look and feel of a banana. So Banana Craze came about, and I got the coloring down. And so you have a lotus flower that is actually a bushel of bananas, which is really cool. And the client was like, that was the client that every time she'll call me every once in a while. I just want to tell you, I really like, thank you so much. I said, thank you. You're making my day. This is really sweet when you get these calls out of the blue. I'm here. I'm going to do some more work with you. Just tell you, I'm just so tickled. I so love it. So it's great. And so
Okay,
those
great.
particular
I just
clients,
want Lawrence just a time check here. I just
yeah,
want to make sure we got a couple more questions. So I was going to turn it over to Corey here if
sure.
you want to wrap up that thought. But we're going to move on to the next question. But no, I do really like that, all the ins and outs of this, and I do think that's an amazing design. I really love the law firm logo too, the elegance and the colors and just the whole vibe. So very nice.
Sure.
Corey, we have 6 more minutes, so Corey, I just want to make sure we get to a couple of those more our key questions here.
Yeah, I think we heard a bit about your why, but what is it that you say would drive you to work with the kind of people that you work with? What is it that you really kind of bring to the table of like, this is Lawrence?
I love always the question, what is your why? When you have somebody who sits down with you and you can sense they are, and I can speak to you gentlemen as well, you are sensing that you're dealing with someone's dream and you're helping further that dream, there's a lot of trust involved. And or maybe you've had people who had their dreams sort of rolled on, they've entrusted other people and they've been minimized. And so my why, I mean, I like my artistic sensibility, and it's really nice when you find a client that melds. Is like, I've been looking for somebody who can carry my message, my dream, what I view my company is, and put it out in front of people. But it is what solidifies that is when people come to you and go, this really is my dream. I've dreamed to own a business. I've dreamed to own this. I'm growing my law firm, and I really want to step out and have a really good look. Can you help me with that? And it's like, absolutely. And so you bend over backwards for those opportunities when you see there's a trust connection. So it's allowing somebody to trust you and valuing that and expressing to them that I do not take this lightly, and you're gonna get the best of my work, and I'm gonna go above and beyond for you. So I mean that's when you get that call, that return client, that's my why.
I think a lot of people are going to get a little stuck on, why should I get a graphic artist? And we've talked about good design and all that, and can be quite a process. What would you say somebody should come in prepared with to hire somebody like you?
So let me step back in that question. It's a fantastic, Corey, question. There's a lot of different conduits of, there's a lot of DIY out there, and there's a lot of people who can do a lot of work themselves. They don't need to bring in a graphic designer to do stuff that you're going, I think you're okay to do this on your own. It's fine. But when you bring in a graphic designer, people look at this stuff going, I could do this. I said, well, it takes a lot of time to figure out, you can go out and put somebody out there on a golf course with a bag of clubs going, here you go. Here's 20 years of my experience, 50 years of my experience in a golf bag. Go ahead and have it and knock the ball around. And they're going to shank the ball all over the place. They're going to have divots. They may hit themselves in the head with a club. And you're going, no, we can pull out the right tool. We can get the right message. And rather than get stuck in the technology, what you do is you're working with a designer that's able to get to the meat and potatoes of the heart of the message, and all these other tools you're getting bogged in. So working with a graphic designer, to answer your question directly, Corey, is, what do you want? What are you looking for? I mean, is there design in particular you like? what's the compelling reason why you go out there and give your best message, and what is that message? What do you want to communicate? And those are the things that I like to go like, what do you want to put forth that people, when they knock on your door, they look at the yellow pages and go on the I'm sounding old school, or going through the internet, they're doing a search. When they come across your messaging, your look, your feel, what do you want that to communicate? And that is a starting point for there. How do you want to communicate? And then we started piecing together who your competition is. What have you been done? What are you doing to stay? What does your product look like? Make sure their messaging is in line with what they're doing. And then you can go from there. And so, that is, and then of course, what is your budget? Is it realistic? Maybe we can do something, very, very simple that you can build on, or maybe it's like it's a reasonable budget. Then this is all the things we can do in stages that really get you going, because usually design is not a one thing. I would love to go, okay, we do a logo for you. You have a virtual background we can put together. We can put an email footer. You have a business card. You have stickers you can put out. You have a shirt. You have a website. We can make headers. We can social media. We can make a variety of different things for your social media that complement your ongoing message. So it's what your message is, what your client is, who you are, what is your why, helps me define them. So I hope I answer your question.
Just a time check. We have another minute or two for that final question.
All right. Well, then what we always ask is, who makes an ideal client for you?
The ideal clients for me are legal firms. Love legal firms. They're the quiet confidence of a legal firm. Healthcare people. There's a big story to be told within the healthcare. Even healthcare providers, if you're dealing with Pilates, or you're dealing with someone who's a naturopathic doctor, a chiropractor, things like that are lovely. Education. I've got education clients that there's a story to be told there. And then nonprofits and solopreneurs. These all have different stories. I love to tell. And what I say is, I've created brain cells for hire as my tagline, but really it starts with a conversation. And at worst case, you come away with a little bit more knowledge that can help you on your journey as a business owner. And but love to have a conversation, and it starts with that. And it's always fun to talk about design and people's vision and dreams for their company. It's always good to hear people's stories.
I agree. That's something I love doing.
Excellent. Well, we are at time, and if you do want to hear more from Lawrence or check him out, I will put the links in the chat, and we'd also invite you to come check out our B&I business networking meeting. We're all actually all in the same B&I chapter, so we've seen a number of presentations from Lawrence with great designs for a lot of people in our chapter, including our Safari guide, and a lot of people who aren't even in our chapter, other chapters of B&I. So with that, Lawrence, we want to thank you for coming on, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I want to say one other thing. Your virtual backgrounds are all of McKendell design on both of you. So you've got, every day you come on, you've got a little bit of love of me out there for you. So thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Take it easy, guys.
We'll see you for the second leg of Quantum Leap coming up. Thank you.